Hello everybody and welcome to Wesley's Plant World with me, Wesley Peterson, and today we are out in the area of my garden here at Crystal Cottage called the Botanical Garden because I want to do an extension on my large border and some of my islands I have going on behind me. I want to make them all into one big long border so that I have a separation between areas in my botanical garden area so that I can have more bushes growing up in between and have a little enclave going on. And I have lots more bushes and so forth that I've bought on a bargain sale now here in November. It's always during October, November, you can go out and find fantastic bargains on perennial plants. And I am going to show you some plants that I'm going to be planting in this border today. And all of these plants I got on an amazing bargain of 80% off the original price. Yes, you heard me right, 80%. And well, I am really pleased with what I got. I bought myself many more plants that I'm going to be showing in this video today, but I am going to be concentrating on this border and a couple of those plants. So those are the ones I will show you to start off with. So before I start creating my border, what I have is, I did a video earlier where I created a new pathway in my botanical garden behind the long border I have going on in front of our Crystal Cottage. These are western facing windows and I want evergreen plants in this area of the garden because, as you can see, autumn is here, winter is coming, and there will be no leaves on all the deciduous trees and bushes. So I need evergreen plants to keep a lovely green view outside of the window for the long winter months. So I am going to be pulling out the rocks in the middle there, placing here, making a little curvy border all the way down to this side and this border here. I've already placed my soil in the borders and it's just a normal gardening mix, and I will be adding leaves on top of the soil and around, and twigs and all sorts of stuff like I always do, organic material, which will enrich this garden soil that I've bought, and it will create a much nicer and rich mulch for these plants as they mature into the soil. So if we go down and look at the left pile here, you can see I have my bench and I have my border down here, and the stones that I will be moving into the middle to connect to this little island I have going on here. And that island will be opened up with the stones to connect here. And then I will have a bush that grows up in front of this pathway, so that we have to go all the way around the botanical garden to get back around to this back side here, which will be its own little enclave, which will be lovely. Look at all these autumn colours at the same time. Oh, it's just amazing right now. So this is going round into the botanical area at the back side, and the border that's going to extend around the apple tree here. If I go a little bit further back, you can see the left side, and then around the apple tree and connecting to the rest of the border over on the back side here. Even the apple trees have this wonderful colour going on. They're still very green here in November. They keep their leaves until around the end of November. They keep them for a long time, so it's really nice actually. And then this border is going to become one huge long expanse. And look at these gorgeous ferns looking like balls of fireworks in the border as they fade away for the winter months. They just give so much character while their throngs are still up. And then down and around here, lots and lots of colours. And back to the border. And the plants that I'm going to be planting in, some are evergreen and some change colours to gorgeous autumn colours. So we'll have lots of different varieties of colour going on, which is absolutely gorgeous during this time of the year. Just love that. So, and before we carry on, I just have to show you, those there are two beech trees. Oh, they just look gorgeous as well. don't they? And then look at my miscanthus grass here in November. How gorgeous they look as well. So if I go back here, you will see lots of vibrant colours around our cottage. Look at that. It's just beautiful. And then, as I said, this will become a new enclave. And you saw that I did a video where I created a new border here, a bamboo forest on the left, a separate video all about that in Mariana's Corner. And then when I made my pathway out in the back of the botanical garden here, that's a whole separate video you can go back and see as well. So if we go into this pathway, I've actually finished off lining with stones along the edges, but I just want to turn around so that you can see when we come out of the pathway, this long border that will be extended all the way along to the other side of the botanical garden. And when all the bushes grow up, it really will feel like a lovely enclave around the bench I have here. So the first plants I want to show you, or I have two, but I'll show you one, is this beautiful little bush here. I am so happy that I found this bush because I've wanted some of these for a while. It's not that they're any rare bush or anything like that, it's just that they have beautiful yellow flowers on them during the summer season, and it is going to be beautiful. So the first plant I want to show you is called Hypericum calmianum gemo. That is the variety name, and this plant has lovely small leaves. Look at this, and you can see all the buds. This plant will get lots and lots and lots of beautiful yellow flowers all over it. And to show you what I mean, I'm going to show you the tag. So here's the tag, and there are the beautiful yellow flowers that this plant will get all over it. So this is a variety of this plant that has smaller leaves, smaller flowers, but this is an evergreen bush, and that is perfect for the position I'm going to be putting it in, as well as being able to get beautiful flowers during the flowering season. And you can see how lovely and green it is right now. So this is absolutely gorgeous. So I will be planting this on the back side from us here, but the front side for me from our cottage windows, so that I can see this all winter long. So the next bush I want to show you, which is absolutely gorgeous here, is a bigger bush that I found. And I was so happy I found it on an 80% bargain sale because it was not that cheap. This beautiful plant is called Euonymus japonicus elegantissima aurea as the variety name. And it's a plant that gets lovely green and yellow variegated leaves, and it is evergreen, and I can't wait to get this in my border behind me here in the spot it's growing in. It can reach to around 2 meters or so tall with time. So we'll see what happens with this if I let it grow that tall or I keep it as a smaller bush. It's so easy to prune, you can keep it in whichever shape you want. So look at the gorgeous leaves on this plant. Isn't that just wonderful? Look at the variegation and the yellow and the, oh, I just love it. I just absolutely love it. And getting a lovely big example of this makes me so happy. So I can't wait to get this put into my border as well, but it's pretty heavy right now, so I need to put it down for a minute. So the next plant I want to show you that I'm going to be planting out in the middle of this pile of soil here is a plant that I already have behind me here. This is Cornus albus sibirica, and in front of me I have another Cornus, and I'm going to bring it closer so you can see. Instead of having beautiful bright red stems like the Cornus albus sibirica there, this one has lovely yellowish limey green stems that stay like this all winter. So even though this plant is deciduous, these stems are so bright that they give beautiful winter interest like an evergreen plant anyway, as well as the red stems on the red dogwood over there. So this beautiful plant is called Cornus stolonifera flaviramia, and look at the stems. Aren't they just amazing? That lovely colour will stay like that all winter, And look at the leaves that are on it still. They will be a lovely dark green during the summer. They turn a lighter green, and then the whole bush will turn this lovely yellow color all over. So it's going to be fantastic. So this bush can reach around 2 meters or so tall, and even taller than that. So it's going to be absolutely perfect to plant here and give me this enclave feeling, and to divide the botanical garden into 2 separate areas. So I really can't wait to get this out. The only thing about this plant is I know that the deer that go around in my garden, and I'm just going to plot in some video here so you can see the deer going around in my garden. They go around very often. My garden is wildlife friendly, but they do like to munch and chew up these plants when they're young. And they have done it on some of my red dogwoods. The big ones over there haven't been that badly attacked because they've been protected by other plants around the bottom, but where they've got to them, they have bitten off some of the bark. And the smaller plants I have, where they nibbled them down. So this one will need to be protected because they will come in and munch this down overnight tonight, probably already before tomorrow if I don't do that. But just to show you, there are different contrasts in the genus Cornus because, well, the color of these two is just so extraordinarily different, but yet fantastic. So I'll just plonk it on the top of the soil here for a minute because I do want to show you the tag that shows how green the leaves can be, and the fact that this plant also does get small white flowers on it, and then it will get white berries. So look at this. So here we go, just so that you understand how this plant's going to look, and you have the name of it down at the bottom there. This is an absolutely beautiful color that changes character so much through the different seasons of the year. And you can see on this picture the lovely white berries on this bush. A huge contrast from now with the light yellowy, limey coloured leaves and the stems. Oh, just wonderful. Just another wonderful plant to add to my collection in my garden. And I call this area my botanical garden because it's the area where I buy and plant most of the plants that I buy and have created this botanical garden. It's not as much of a woodland area like I do have on the far backside of my garden here. So this is going to be a lovely added contrast here in the middle. You can already see it. I'm looking forward to getting that in the ground. So anyway, before I start doing the border, I have one more plant that I want to show you that I'm going to be planting in here. And this is another evergreen plant, this time smaller, but no less beautiful and important for my border. This is the beautiful Begonia. Some people call it Begonia. I like to call it Begonia. Begonia cordifolia. And again, evergreen plant. Look at the lovely leaves. During the summer, they are a lovely green color all over. And then during the autumn and winter, they turn red. And then this whole plant will turn a bright red all over. Different tones, it will go burgundy and all sorts, but it changes colour and character all year and keeps its leaves. Any leaves that are frazzling away, you just go and clip those off and keep your plant neat. It's up to you. This plant is fantastic for sun, semi-shade to a light shade situation. I've found that if they're in areas where it's too dark, then they don't like it, they won't grow as well. But these do flower, and I'm going to show you the tag because if you see here, you can see this plant gets these lovely dark mauvey, pinky flowers on stalks and will look absolutely beautiful early spring. But even though they do get flowers early spring, I probably won't get to see them because even though the deer do not eat this plant, it's actually deer friendly, and that's why I also want the plant. The leaves, they don't touch them. But I found they do go and nibble off the new flowers and just leave the stalks. That happened to me last year. I have done a whole video about some begonias I've placed underneath my terrace there by our Crystal Cottage. And well, the flowers I only got to see for a couple of days and then they were gone. But the plants are never touched by the deer, so they are going to be fantastic, even though they're in an exposed area right by where the deer walk through in the garden. So I'm looking forward to this. I have 4 pots of this plant, but in each pot I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, around 5, 6 separate plants. I'm going to be splitting all those and spreading them in either that border or the border over on my right hand side here. I'm not sure which one I want to put them in yet, but that's where they're going to be going. So now I've showed you all the plants that I have to plant for now. There'll be many more coming into these borders later on because, well, that's what I do. I plant more plants, I move plants around, I rearrange my borders, and nothing stays the same for very long. So let me get on now with moving my rocks into place so that I can spread out the soil and plant my plants. So I'll start with this area down here, and I just need to get me some gloves on first because this is going to be heavy duty work now. And I absolutely love doing things like this. Today, where you can see I have no jacket on, it's not very cold, it's been raining on and off, it's got this very humid kind of atmosphere at the moment, and I'm hoping it's just going to hold off and not rain on me until I finish doing what I need to do here so that I can carry on filming my video. So now we are going to go into fast forward so I can get this done. So as you can see, I've already made a basic first outline here, and this is just for now. I'm just using the rocks that I have available, but I will at some point go out and find rocks that are taller, because that's what I want. I want nice big rocks at the front of my border, but this is fine for now. So that part's done, and now I know I can rake out the soil to the front here. Now I just want to design the back edge and how far I want to go back on this border. This side I have some bigger rocks that I can start with, and yes, I can just make a decision how I want them to be and start building again. So this area has actually become quite a big area, and well, it's always just so exciting to see the beginning of something new here. Now I have a few rocks I have left in the middle here, so I can place those over there at the front for now. Maybe stand up some of these a little bit more to give me some more elevation, like this, until, as I said, I find bigger rocks to put in here. I can just build up like this. That's absolutely fine. It gives character when everything looks a little bit different and so forth. So, ow, my finger. So there we go. I think my border's nice, has a little bit of a shape. Here maybe I want to go in a little bit more. So now my border here has some more shape. I am ready to rake out the soil. So usually when I make no-dig borders like this, I get a layer of cardboard and place it on the ground to help keep the grass down from growing through. I didn't have any cardboard and I need to get this done, so I'm just going to do this way, place the soil down, and then I will be placing a lot of leaves all around over the soil anyway. And I think I'll be okay, because later on I am actually going to add more and more soil to this area and thicken it out and elevate it more. I'm doing this basically because I want to see my outline and I want to plant in my first plants. So the edge here is already built up, and my other border is much higher there. So I will with time be putting out a lot more soil in this area. And there we go. A new section of my border has been created, just like that. Now I'm ready to go in and plant my first plant in the middle. I have soft soil, so this is very, very easy. So here I have my beautiful Cornus Stolonifera flaviramia. I just need to get it out of its pot. Oh, it's tied it in there. Squeeze the pot a little bit. Roots coming out of the bottom. Get it out. There we go. Throw away the pot for now. And take out the plastic tag. There we go. Now I'm ready to get my plant, which is going to be a big tall bush, in the middle of the area so that everything I plant that's lower around can grow around this beautiful plant, just like this. So for now, I will be mounding the soil around my plant, and I will be going and collecting some more. I can only get a certain amount of sacks of soil in my car at a time, otherwise it would be too heavy. So I'm doing this for now, And then I will be going and collecting myself some more soil. So there we go. My beautiful plant is in place. And look how fabulous it is with my Weigela over there that have their lovely autumn yellow colours, and the Cornus alba sibirica behind, and now its family member in the genus Cornus here. Together, two tones, all of the lovely yellows going on, the autumn colours going on down here, and the evergreen bushes that are in there as well. This is fabulous. Oh, I'm really, really enjoying this straight away. So now I need to get on with the next area. So for this part of my video, you can see that I've turned the camera around. So now I'm on what I call the front side of this border. You can see my cornice on that side over there with the rock border I just created. And now I have my rocks here that I'm going to be placing around the front of this border. My apple tree will become part of the border now. Don't worry about me suffocating the tree by mounting any soil around the bottom of its base. I will be removing the soil from the base so that the bottom of the tree is exactly the same height it's always been, so it doesn't get smothered. It's very important that you don't pile up any soil around the bottom of your fruit trees. That could be detrimental for it. So that will be moved away. I've just placed it in there for now, so I can build my border and then rake out my soil once again. I've actually got a rock that, because it's been in the ground for years, has sunk so far down it's really hard for me to get up. It's a heavy one, but I want to get that out at the front here because it will look wonderful. So I've got my spade to help me pry this rock out from the ground. There we go. I just need to find the bottom, otherwise I wouldn't be able to move it. There we go. Oh. It's a big rock, and that is absolutely perfect. That's the kind of rocks that I want going on here. And I actually want that in the middle, next to my lovely big rock that was already here, you can see there, that is full of quartz crystal and looks amazing. It was one of the first rocks I ever removed from the forest area of my garden 8 years ago and placed there because of the beautiful crystals in it. There. So that's another rock, another one here, another one here. Pile some dirt behind to help me keep them up, like that. It goes so quickly once you have the rocks already in place. It's not that it's a problem to move them around. So, here we go. Oh, this is a lovely rock that I got as a gift. It's a black mineral that they mine in a mine here called Svartaberget. And that means the Black Mountain, where they collect this lovely black mineral. So, I want that to be a focal point. And then I have all these that I found around and about that I can carry on connecting with. And what's going on here? How are these rocks? I have an extra rock here. That was perfect. That's exactly what I needed to finish off the border right here. The first part of my border is redesigned. Just like that. So now I just have that side and the back to get finished. I've wanted to do this for some time. I've just not got round to it, but now I am, and I feel really good about that. So here I have a couple more big rocks to put at the front. That's perfect. So this is going well, but the only thing is, because I've enlarged the border, I am without a few rocks. And underneath this bush here, I have rocks that I could use for now, because you wouldn't be able to see that I've moved anything because the bush goes quite far down. So I'll put these rocks around here first. Let's see how I want to do this. This one there, it's going to need a support rock. I have one here, because this rock's pretty big, so it needs a support. There we go. One more in place. So I just need a couple more. And I actually have a rock up in the border that I don't need up in the border here, that I can excavate and put down here. This was perfect and very big, so it's going to take the space of what I thought would be. So, one more. Oh, I've taken out plant here. Don't want to do that though. So I'm not going to get completely away with this. I actually have to find myself one more rock, but that's okay. I'll find that. And in the meantime, I'm just going to get my plants planted out so I can get the first part of this done. In fact, I have more rocks in borders over there. I'll do that. So I found a rock that's okay for now. And there we go. My border is complete. So now I can spread out the soil so that I can get planting. So there we go. I think that looks fantastic. So now I can go in and plant my first plants in here. And I'll start with my 2 Hypericum. One I want to put here, not too close to the edge because it's going to bush out and so forth. So around here is perfect because then I can put lower plants around in front of it. So there we go. That's in. Easy as pie. And looks amazing. And I'll put another one over here, just around here, I think would be good. There we go. And pile up the soil around it too until I get more. There we go. Or take out the plastic. So that is in 2. So that's 2 of my plants already in place. Absolutely fantastic. Now I have my big euonymus that I want to have in the middle here. And I might dig a little bit this time just to make sure that I make enough room for this one's deeper pot. So I'll dig out a little hole with some of this turf that I can take and put in other holes in the garden. Nothing gets wasted when I take up turf, that's for sure. And excavate a little bit of a hole to put this plant in, and then I can build upwards after that. And surprisingly enough, I've not touched a tree root, so I'm pleased about that too. There we go. Make sure it's wide enough. So I want this plant's front facing my cottage. So in it goes here. Oh, this is going to be fantastic. And then fill in around it. So now it's time for me to get my begonia into my border. And as I said, I can split these plants. So what I'm going to do is just show you inside. If you look inside this plant, you can see I'm holding here one plant, in front's another one, 2, 3, and you basically just take a piece like this and stick it in the ground and it will grow. So I'm not going to be fussing, I'm just going to split them up and put them in along the edge and see what happens. Try, of course, as best you can to get some roots with your plant, but if you don't fuss too much, plant it and you will get something come up for you next season. They're very robust. So this root ball, beautiful. Put this here. There we go. Already got a few plants in. One more here. I do love the leaves on these. Looking good already. And I've decided that I just want to put these on this front side because they're evergreen. So I'm going to put them along the front here and along the front of the next piece over there and fill in as much as I can. So that's all my begonia in place. Now the only thing I need to do is fill the top of the soil with a layer of leaves to give protection to the ground, keep the moisture in, keep the frost out, keep my plants happy, and give more organic material for the biodiversity to work on and draw down into the soil, making an even richer, healthier soil for my new plants. So now I am finished with my new border for today. I went ahead and put all of the fallen leaves all around my plants in this border, around here and the next piece over there. And now it looks like my border has always been like this, like I haven't worked here today. The plants just look like, well, everything looks very much like autumn, and it's fantastic. My border now is really long. It looks like a big, long worm. But I really like it because this is really going to segregate the garden into 2 new areas again. And that is what I love. I want less and less grass in my garden and more borders and plants, because one thing I don't like doing is going and cutting the grass, but it's something that has to be done, and then trimming around the edges, but it always looks beautiful when it's done, and when all the rocks are accentuated with a nice low grass area in front. So I'm really, really pleased with all of this, and when I have time to go and get myself some more soil, I will be putting another thin layer of soil on top of all the leaves to keep them in place, because otherwise when they dry out at some point they will blow away, some of them. So I want to keep them down in the soil, and this now is going to be fantastic. The biodiversity is really going to work well in this. It's mixed with grass, and I'll put all sorts of leaves and twigs and so forth in here as well. And this soil will really become much, much richer very, very quick. So I'm really, really pleased with the outcome of this. So I just want to give you a closer look at the whole thing before I finish my video. So I've decided to start from right at the end of this border and the area that I created in a whole separate video. And then we pan around now with my lovely rock border that's been accentuated all the way down to here. And that has left a lovely grass pathway out to the backside of the Botanical Garden. And this is the new border that I created. So this is the quartz in this rock. And many of the rocks in my garden have quartz. We have a lot of granite rocks here, full of quartz. Absolutely beautiful. And that is why our home here is called Crystal Cottage. So behind that, all of the plants I've just planted, and they look fabulous. Look at this evergreen bush that's just going to be a delight the more it grows and fills out. And also these bushes down here that will grow and fill out the expanse. And then these beautiful plants down at the front that I've split, the begonia, that will change colour with the seasons and thicken out and be evergreen. So that's how that extra area has been filled out. And then the border that was already here looks fantastic in the middle of the whole of this border. So we carry on along this grass pathway to the next part. And again at the bottom, small pieces of the begonia that I've planted out in amongst the leaves. I'm expecting they'll do absolutely fine and pop up with more leaves next spring, summer season. And then the beautiful cornice in the middle here. That is going to get big and fill out the whole area. And of course, I'm going to plant many more plants in these borders, but they look fantastic already, just like this. So let's now go right around. This is the end of the border with my beautiful weigela that are growing here. So if I go further back, we can see now how that border has filled out all the way to the end. And you can see our Crystal Cottage behind and all of these gorgeous autumn colours going on. Look at that, they're just amazing. And there'll be even more now with these new bushes and shrubs and perennials going on in this border. So the border has a wave in it, And this is the back side of the new area. So you can see how that cornice is going to fill out the gap there. And you can see our annex behind. So we'll have a bushy layer right along here. And then this carries on to the bench. And this is the back side of the second new area, with this lovely euonymus here. Oh, this is just fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. As I said, it looks like it's always been like this. And then the border just carries on in and on into the back part, and my pathway that splits that border from the next border here. And then if we take this pathway around the back, because this is all outlining this one big, long, snaking border now. I just love this. Look at this. This is just fantastic. And then we come out on the back side where I have my rhododendrons, and you can see our crystal cottage. But then we'll go around and be back at the front side of this long, winding border. So now I just have one apple tree here outside of the border. Who knows, maybe in the future I'll extend out even more. We'll see when that time comes. But for now, I'm very happy with the change I've made now. And I think the border just looks lovely, outlining all the way up to that bench. So those two benches you can see in the picture will be in two separate areas when the bushes thicken out. And that's good, because then there'll be a separate garden area behind all of this. So I really hope you enjoyed the closer look of my long wiggly border now. I really, really do like this, and the fact that all of my plants here are still evergreen in front, and on the back side I can plant out some perennials with more flowers that disappear and so forth. It won't matter so much on that side, but on this side I do want the evergreen plants. So all I have to say now is thank you very much once again for watching this video with me. Please remember to like, subscribe and hit the bell so you know when my next video will be coming up, and I will see you again very, very soon. Goodbye.